Welcome back. Well, we've got Ogbeide Ifaluyi-isibor, who is the Director of Mobilization Nigeria Diaspora Youth Coalition, but he's here in the studios. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, let's get a little bit of background. This Nigerian Diaspora Youth Coalition, now we understand what is it about in the first place? Because how is it that it says Youth Coalition for Peter Obi?
Well, the Nigerian Diaspora Youth Coalition, it's a congregation of young professionals who are Nigerians but who live in the diaspora to promote good governance and to help sustain the development of good governance back at home. That's basically what we do. But putting into consideration all the actors for the 2023 presidential elections, we came to the conclusion that if we are to pursue and encourage good governance, Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party happened to be the only candidate that we perceived can align with our goals and our vision as a coalition, and we decided to support him.
Well, first of all, how do Nigerians living abroad contribute to good governance or have any role to play in the elections here?
Well, Nigerians living abroad are Nigerians. Yeah. They have family members who live in Nigeria, and just like every average Nigerian, they feel the impact of bad governance, in Nigeria. I mean, in the last 3 years, Nigerians in diaspora have contributed over $60 billion in remittances to the Nigerian economy. That's a very significant amount of money that has helped to improve the GDP of the nation. And so they have a stake in the Nigerian product because they are Nigerians.
Yeah, I understand that. What I'm saying is that because, I mean, when that happens, it's not usually, I stand corrected, with the original intention of saying this is to contribute to good governance. It's remitting funds to relatives who want to improve their lives, and by extension, it impacts the economy. So is it right to say that that is with respect to having a direct impact on good governance?
Well, the remittances, like you said, is directly for the benefit of the people who are our relatives. But the vision and the purpose of the NDYC is to promote good governance in Nigeria. So we have sensitization programs in most of the universities in Nigeria. We have trainings we have for young people, in Nigeria to help them, improve their skills and contribute, to the growth and development of the country.
Okay, now, you are still a member of the PDP, are you?
Yes, I am.
But now you're a member of this coalition, like you say you're supporting Peter Obi. So how does that work? Because I know that if you were living here, you've contested elections before under the platform of PDP.
Yes, I have.
For instance, you know that if you were in that party and you're doing something else for another party, I think you call it anti-party activity. So isn't there a conflict here for you?
No, there's no conflict because I'm a member of the PDP and I'm glad to be a member of the PDP, but I'm one that is very obedient. I call it with a very high obedient voting because this is it.
So that is not anti-party activity?
Well, my loyalty is first to my conscience, then to my nation, and then to any other engagement, which includes a political party. Being a member of the PDP and participating in all the electoral processes, and I was, more or less the spokesperson of the PDP in 2015 when we had our election. So I've been a major player in the PDP. But the development of Nigeria, the salvation that the Nigerians need, is not vested in a political party any longer. You have people who are members of the PDP, members of the APC, members of all kinds of political parties who support Mr. Peter Obi because it transcends the political party right now. We're trying to save our lives and not save our political parties. That's what we are doing, and that's where Nigeria is now. We cannot continuously, pretend that all is well. And so, because I'm a member of the PDP, then whoever the PDP's candidate is, then you must support. That's not how democracy plays out in other developed economies. There are members of the Democrats Party who support Republican candidates, and vice versa. So it is about the capacity, the capability, the competence of the individual.
If you say there are members of the Democratic Party who support Republicans, they don't vote for Republican candidates.
They do.
While still being
Oh, yes, they do. They campaign, they support and mobilize to vote for candidates of a different political party because it, like I said, it transcends your political party. Who is the individual that can deliver to the people. That's what really matters. And that's where we should get to, where we are not blinded by what they call loyalty. And like I tell people, the assumption of loyalty is for those at the bottom of the ladder in the political parties. Most of our big players are loyal to themselves first.
But isn't this part of the deception as well? Because if you are a member of a party and you want to support another candidate,
yes,
why don't you just leave that party and go with the so that the party knows that, look, they're not with us, so they are now with this other party. It's clearer for a lot of people who also want to perhaps say, okay, look, we're planning with this, we're taking that decision based on this. So it puts everybody in the clear of what to expect, isn't it?
Well, that's why I think our democracy or our politics needs to evolve. I do not have to be in the political party of the candidate I'm voting for. I should be free to make a decision. Like I said, my loyalty is to my conscience, not to my political party. So the individual who I think can deliver on the promises to the Nigerian people is who I'm devoted to, not whoever my political party chooses. Because we know how political party candidates emerge. Sometimes it's not free, sometimes it's not fair, sometimes it's not to the best interest of the people. So that is where we are looking at it from. What is the best for the people, not what is the best for me. It would have been nice to say, oh, as a member of the party, I should support my party's candidate. But would I be punishing my conscience? Will I be happy as an individual that this is not what I really want to do, but because I want to be loyal to my political party that has not helped me or helped the majority of the Nigerian people, then I want to be loyal? No, we cannot do that.
If they say this is about your conscience, you want to do things right, but you also know that actualizing certain things are two different things. For instance, if you were you're still in PDP, and so if you decided to say, well, I vie for local government elections. You've contested elections before.
Yes.
Wouldn't you make more impact if you contest election and win on that platform, given your mindset and what you believe in, which you say you find in the other candidates, as opposed to just voting for him where it's a 50-50 thing. He may or may not win. So how about that?
The people determine who at the end of the day wins the elections. In a normal democratic setting, the people are the ones who vote to determine.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, so if I support Peter Obi, for example, as a Labour Party presidential candidate, I may have members of the PDP in my state that I support for House of Assembly or for the Senate or for House of Reps. So it's not just about, aligning from top to bottom. It has to be PDP from top to bottom. What is the character of the individual that I'm supporting to that role he's vying for? So if I was to run for office as a local government chairman, the people in that local government will determine who's elected.
I understand that. What I'm asking is, if you look in your party and you say you have a better chance of winning an election as, for instance, a local government chairman, and then rather than do that, you choose to vote for another candidate in another party, do you think that you will be achieving your aim of ensuring development happens in the country by voting that, as opposed to assuming you contest and win an election as a candidate?
Well, if I was to vie for office for a particular position, and your question is, would I rather not vote for a different candidate than to vie for office? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, if you were to vie for office in your party,
yes,
the PDP, and you have a better chance to win and make an impact, would you rather vote for another candidate and not go for that election as a councillor and win and make more impact? Which would you prefer?
No, of course. If I'm vying for office, I must be aware, first of all, that I'm capable of delivering on the promises I wish to bequeath to the people. So if I know I have the capacity to do it, why on earth will I vote for somebody else on a different platform? If there's somebody better than me in the ring, then why should I contest?
Now, anybody has a right to vote for any candidate you want.
Yes.
People are free to do that. It doesn't matter whose ox is God on that one. But for you, what is it that you've seen in supporting him in terms of capacity or ability to win an election, given the way our political system is structured here?
Well, to be honest, I think that Nigerians have come to that point where we're tired of the way things have been. Everybody is frustrated and disillusioned, and we cannot continue the way we have always been. Anyone who is taking the Nigerian people for granted, and I say anyone because the leadership as constituted presently today, in my view, has taken the people for granted. And so Nigerians have gotten to the point where they are tired. They want to make their voices heard like there's never been before. And Peter Obi happened to be the poster boy for today's revolution. If you go on the streets today, wherever you go to, Nigerians are not happy. Look at all the data and the indices. 84% of Nigerians cannot feed themselves. Nigerian students have been out of school since February. The insecurity in Nigeria today is worse than it has ever been before, to the extent that we are now having the presidential convoy being harassed and attacked. It has never happened before. So what sector of the Nigerian economy can we say is doing well today? There's none. So we've gotten to the point where we have few choices to make between the candidate of the APC, the candidate of the PDP, and the candidate of the Labour Party today. And we can see clearly that Nigerians want a change from the way things have always been. And the only person we perceive who has that capacity to deliver on the promise that we have as a people for our future, because we're fighting for our future. Yeah. We're fighting for our lives.
You know, so at the moment, it's such that no, we don't know how or what's going to play out on the day for the presidential elections. All the polls notwithstanding, with due respect to all the researchers who did their homework and did everything about that one. Because if you look at the sample size and all of those things, you know that, I mean, you're still in the party, you know that there are so many things that you don't see that determine how elections are won and lost, and not necessarily just with polls, as it were. So for you, is this about the presidential election at that level, or is it across board? Because there will be question marks if the Labour Party is focusing just on that alone.
Well, what we're trying to do is to change the leadership, and leadership at the top.
So just that one.
That is the major factor for 2023. Because how well a country will progress depends on the leadership at the top. And how well a country would, mess up, like we're messing up right now, depends on the leadership at the top. So majority of Nigerians, yes, we care about, those who go to the National Assembly. We care about our governors. We care about local government chairmen. But what signal is the leader at the top sending? That is what transcends down to that leadership ladder. Because if we see that the president is taking a step in the right direction, the National Assembly, the governors, will have no choice to take that step in that direction. For example, a president falls ill and he has a cold, and the next day he's flown to the UK. The governors will say, oh, if I get sick too, I do the same thing. But if a president says that to better the health system in Nigeria, we must invest in our health system, and we must use our health system and lead by example, every other person will follow suit. That is the kind of leadership Nigeria needs right now, and that's what we're bothered about. Yes, the Labour Party and the presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, has shown that he's that kind of a person that will do what he says. We've looked at his records as the governor of Anambra State, and that is what is driving the Nigerian people crazy. That where has this man been all along? But seeing him moving from place to place, country to country, TV station to TV station, telling the people what he intends to do and how he intends to do it. We've never heard that before. That's why you can say that it's more like a revolution for us, because we're seeing a different kind of individual aspire for office, and those who are competing with him are nowhere in any standard to compete.
Do you get feedback from your party about this in terms of your stance now?
Chamberlain, I can tell you for a fact that there are hundreds of PDP members still in the PDP who are obedient, because everybody is tired We want a better life for ourselves and our children. The loyalty now has transcended the political party.
But
at the elections, you will see it. Because they say, oh, the man has no structure. But the narrative is changing now. They're saying that, okay, there are people who are coming out to support him, who were not supporting him, in quotes, at the initial point. We're seeing rallies being held across the country. We're seeing hundreds of thousands of eligible voters come out en masse. So what more structure could be more than that?
Well, if I hear you right, if many or most of those who are really angry, quite a number members of PDP want to support him and vote for him. So if you have a lot more from the PDP and not as much from the APC, again, if I heard you right, wouldn't that be weakening the PDP and strengthening the APC, making it easier for them to just stroll in and win the ticket?
Well, just like it's happening in the PDP, it's happening in the APC, and that's the truth. And it is even worse for the APC because a lot of APC members, many of who I conversed with, were disappointed at the selection of the running mates of the APC presidential candidate. Many felt that that was unfair, that was unjust, and that was insensitive. And apart from the fact that their candidate doesn't appear to be someone who they think has a capacity to lead Nigeria into her future, they see that now they have even more reasons not to support their presidential candidates. And we're going to see all this play out at the elections. The confusion that the main political parties have is that they are banking on the previous permutations of elections in Nigeria. What will happen in 2023 is like what we've never seen before. And that's the truth. We're seeing for the first time young people go out en masse to register to vote. We're seeing young people fund their own strategy on how to go about the elections. We're seeing young people come out on the street without being paid. Chamberlain, this has never happened before.
But in 2019,
yes,
who did you work for? How did you vote?
I campaigned and voted for the PDP candidates, Atiku Abubakar.
Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi.
And Peter Obi, yes.
So isn't it the same?
No, it's not the same. 2019, we had Presidents Buhari and Atiku on the line. And at the time, Atiku was a man to beat. He was obviously better than what we had at the time. But in 2023, there's a difference. Now we have three major people on the line, and obviously we're choosing the one who's the best. That's what it's about. Yes, I voted and campaigned for Atiku the last time, but that has changed now. We're seeing somebody who's younger, who's more effective, who is more efficient, who is more intellectual, who has the capacity, the commitment, and the honesty to deliver our hopes, and that's why we're for Peter Obi.
Even though you know that there's so many people who would point by point disagree on what you said, but my colleagues in Lagos will also like to come in and get some questions across. Go ahead, guys.
Mr. Isibor, interesting thoughts there, but if I get you correctly, you're focused and concentrating on winning the presidency. And, just in case, in the wildest possible scenario, your candidate emerges, has your party thought it through by not, drumming up the same level of support for the victorious emergence of your party at the governorship level in other states? Have you anticipated the kind of presidency that you could have if you don't have the requisite support base at the governorship level and at the National Assembly levels?
Well, thank you for the question. You see, 2023 is going to be very different. When Peter Obi emerges president, that would be Nigeria's president. He would realize, and the nation will realize, that this was a product of the Nigerian people, not just of a political party. And so those at the National Assembly and the governors, of course, they may not be members of the president's political party. Nigerians don't really care about what political party you belong to. Deliver on good governance for us. And if there appears to be some kind of fracas between the National Assembly and the executive when Peter Obi becomes president, Nigerians will rise to the occasion. Because we have fought so hard to have our president elected. Like many people will say, we are the ones running for office through Peter Obi. So it is our government, not just Peter Obi's government. So the Nigerian people would not allow regular professional politicians destroy whatever we are trying to achieve as a people. So that consciousness will be available across board. When Peter Obi becomes president, his plans and policies are the Nigerian people's plans and policies. So if our friends in National Assembly care about the nation, care about the people who they represent, they are going to fall in line with those plans and policies that are capable of delivering us to where we're headed to. So I don't foresee a scenario where there will be an unnecessary, back and forth, apart from the regular ones where we will have, because Peter Obi is going to stop, waste. He's not going to allow people to continue the way they've been doing it. And professional politicians will not be happy about it. And that is where Nigerians will rise up to the occasion. If we get to a point where the National Assembly, for example, is becoming a stumbling block to our progress as a nation, the people will react. And when I mean the people will react, they will react in the way that we have never seen before.
So many hurdles to cross before you get to that point. Speaking of which, let's look at the hurdles now. I wonder if you've heard the analysis that, the support base based on algorithms for your candidate is mostly found on social media, and not just on social media, but of people who do not necessarily reside within the country and are not PVC holding eligible electorate. That's one. Two, let's look at the Northwest. Some have also said that this time around, President Muhammadu Buhari is not on the ballot, and that the election will be decided in the Northwest, where you have states like Kano and Kaduna that have swing votes. How confident are you that your candidates can pull a surprise in these states and with these factors?
Thank you. I don't subscribe to the assumption that the election will be decided in the Northwest. I really don't. I don't also subscribe to the assumption of those who are afraid that the support base of Peter Obi is just on social media, or those who are based outside of the country, or those who don't have the PVC. That's fear speaking. That's what it is. They are afraid. They are seeing what we have never seen before in the history of Nigeria. They are seeing Nigerians generally queue behind one person. The same way you're seeing it on the streets, that's the same way you're seeing it on social media. So any person who is telling you is just so, we've seen rallies across the country of young people, middle-aged people, and old people rallying in support of Peter Obi. Is that social media? Or are we going to assume that they all don't have PVCs? So who are those who have the PVCs then? Who are those who are the Nigerians? So the election for 2023 will be very different. Like I said, whatever permutations we've had before for 2015 and for 2019 will be crushed in 2023. Because the kind of sensitization we are having today, we've never had it before. There are people who have always had voters' cards and never voted, and they're saying that this time around, we are going to vote, and they're voting for a reason. They're not voting to reinforce failure. They're not voting just to change the political party that's in government. They are voting, or they're coming out to vote for an individual. And that is, like I said, we've never seen before. Most people have voted along party lines. President Buhari is not on the ballot today. So the assumption that the APC, has bulk votes somewhere does not exist. And I tell you what are they going to campaign with in the Northwest? What are they going to tell the people in Katsina why they should reinforce failure and vote again for the APC? When those in Katsina are not living better lives, the insecurity in the zone has worsened, poverty in the zone has worsened, education in the zone has worsened. What will be the campaign point of the APC in the Northwest, where some people think that's where the votes will be decided? Are those in the Northwest living better lives than those in the Northeast or those in the Southeast? Nigerians generally are frustrated. We are tired. So anybody's assumption that, this party has these votes here, you are lying to yourselves, because Nigerians are going to show in 2023 that we want a different direction. The same way the northern youths are out of school, that's the same way the southern youths are out of school.
So, but don't you think that when the strike is called off before the elections, it will change the dynamics?
It will not. Are we going to forget suddenly all the sufferings we've had just because they've called off the strike?
No, it's not about what they forget. It's about where there will be the capacity or ability to vote.
calling off the strike is not going to change anything.
Okay. What do you think about the way Osun elections turned out? Because at the time, too, Nigerians were very angry. Osun, they were also equally angry.
Yes.
But in spite of that, over 300,000 people voted for the APC, even though PDP won with about 50,000 votes. So you had that much people, in spite of the anger, still voted for the ruling party. So if you extrapolate that to the national level, you never can tell. So it means that anger may not necessarily be a major factor.
Anger will always play a role. The same way hunger will play a role.
But will it be the major deciding
factor?
It
is going to be a combination of factors. You know, and many people did not assume or did not foresee that the Osun government was going to change from the APC to the PDP, because we saw the way the APC had mobilized their men and materials. We saw the way they were excited about the Ekiti elections. They were going to use monies, but monies didn't play so much role in Osun elections. The people were decisive. They knew that they needed to change those who were in government, and they came out en masse to do it. Yes, they were frustrated at some point, but they were decisive that this is what we want, and that's how it's going to be in the 2023 elections.
Well, you didn't factor in the fact that even the APC themselves had internal rift and rancor, which may have contributed to all of that. So it's not as straightforward as, you know, it may appear.
But they're not having the same rancor right now. Are they not in a worse situation right now than they've ever been before? Well, there are members of the APC who are senior members of the APC who are campaigning against the APC.
We're not to go, but we'll get the APC and the PDP to weigh in as well on this matter tomorrow. But I want to thank you for coming on. Ogbeide Ifaluyi-isibor is the Director of Mobilization, Nigeria Diaspora Youth Coalition, who he says now identifying with the Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. We're back in a moment. Stay with us.